Let's just quickly take a look at the course of the day as the riders neutralise 6.9 kilometres. The route to Wollongong along the coastline, 27.7 kilometres. We go through the line with 239.2 kilometres to go. We then head on to the Mount Kira loop, which is a route of 34.2 kilometres. We come back into Wollongong with 205 kilometres to go, and then we do 12 laps of the city circuit that we have got used to, taking in a lot of climbs along the way. And the flag is then dropped on these World Championships as this final race, the men's elite race, gets underway and immediate attacks. Lithuania and Switzerland, immediate moves at the front of the race to get things underway. You can hear all the horns going. It's always a bit of a frantic moment in the cars when the race suddenly fires off and they need to get everybody out the way in front. We've got 27.7 kilometres till we get down to Wollongong. Then we go out on the Mount Kira loop. A couple of riders trying to fire away now already off the front to set up the breakaway.
Well, it's a very, very fast road down from Helensburgh to Wollongong. It was our Wednesday ride. So with Graham Brown and Chris Sutton, I'd just try and stay on the wheel. As CJ, Chris Sutton, he would absolutely pour the pace on and I'd just hang on for dear life. Then we'd have that refreshing coffee in Wollongong and head back where CJ would try to do the hardest climbs up Bulleye Pass or Ball Hill in the big chainring. And the race is on, the speed is high. There are a few riders that are very keen to get off the front before they get into Wollongong and hit that Mount Kira loop.
1 minute and 3 seconds is now the advantage for our front group of riders. Just to remind you, there's 12 riders now in that front group. And heading across the line first is Simon Payot riding for Switzerland. The riders have already reached Wollongong at the end of this first loop into the finish down that coastline. Here's the chasers as they make their way in now. Muratov, Illich and Schurhaus trying now to put themselves into that front group.
Of Malta.
Daniel Bonello leading this group of riders through with Berlin also. So they complete the run-in to Wollongong and go back out the other side. Here comes the peloton now. It's a very steady peloton. The group really has calmed down. It's slow, I think you could say, pretty sedate. Having been at 49 kilometres an hour, they just want to ride steadily across the line. Luke Clapp almost just freewheeling his way. Well, let's focus in on the race. Look at the crowds as we make our way onto Mount Kira. Talk us through this climb then. This is an important part of this particular route. Simon, the technical aspects of this route as we see the profile there on the screen. And then Rochelle, because you know this climb very well. Look at the tempo now, really turning the pressure on. Bruno Amarai also has come to the front for France. So not just Sivakov, Simon, they're putting two very key riders on the front of this race already. This is not good news for Switzerland, losing Stefan Bissiger already on this climb. With so far to go to the race finish, he is being distanced and there's a few riders being dropped. I'm surprised that Bissiger is dropped this early.
Yeah.
They want this to come back together, don't they? But interestingly, in this group, Tadej Pogačar has made his way into this group of riders.
Well, Tadej Pogačar is there, but however, I did notice a number of his teammates were caught behind in that back group. So Tadej Pogačar is not going to have a lot of support in this front group.
What do they decide to do? Pogačar looking around to decide whether he's going to ride, and now the team of Germany are concerned. So they come to the front, they bring this back down to 2 minutes and 8 seconds. The gap back to this peloton is not diminishing, and we're seeing more and more splits.
Well, it looked as though still it was the German team there, led by Nico Dentz on the front, keeping the pace really high, trying to close these gaps back down again to the groups in front of them.
So these are the front group of 11 just cresting the top of Mount Pleasant. Well, it's got a bit of a false top, hasn't it? They get to this section, it's got another little kick that they've got to go up, so it's quite a demanding climb. Once they come around this section and they get onto another steep section.
Here's the chasing group.
You can see Tadej Pogacar there, really driving, trying to reach back across.
Yeah, so he wants to make contact with that group that's just popped off the front, but he's doing it on a section where it's going to hurt everyone else as well.
Pogacar riding on instinct as always. Look at the way now he starts to turn up the pressure. He knows that he's in a really strong situation here. Wout van Aert following the wheels. This has got to be one of the most full-on World Championships we have seen, because this is constant moves. Putting in the tempo on the front, Emils Liepins of Latvia. 11 laps of racing to go. Emils Liepins, who rides for the Trek Segafredo team, has a contract with them till the end of 2023, and they go flying past our commentary position, all intact in that front group.
And we've already seen that it has worked, because it's put pressure on the climbs on the likes of Tadej Pogacar, having to do some work and not just sit back, but really ride that climb as hard as he could. Not as hard as he could, but pretty solidly, already on their first lap around the circuit.
A number of the big riders in this second chase group are contributing now. We just saw Belko Mollema roll through, Wout van Aert, Marc Soler, he's committed too.
2:44 was their lead, and the group of Germany, as they go through on the front of this peloton, is Miguel Heidemann.
And now Alaphilippe, he just drops back to have a word to the team director, taking a gel.
Thomas Voeckler. Bit of a discussion going on between these riders. The plan has been playing out. They must be pretty happy, I would imagine, with the way things are going so far. 16 riders now at the front with 151 kilometres of racing to go. Those 16 riders now contain Sivakov, Ben O'Connor, Luke Platt, Peter Serian, Samuele Battistella. Australia are in a strong position in that they've got two riders, one or two of which could win this race. Look at Nico Betts. Well, he's out there, he's enjoying his afternoon. He's in no man's land at 3 minutes 15. He's right in the middle right now. But why not? Just enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Nairo Quintana is back in the Colombian team this afternoon. He didn't ride La Vuelta, as we know. He's now challenging the decision about his removal of his results in the Tour de France after tested positive for tramadol, which is a painkiller that is not banned in sport, but is banned in cycling. So WADA don't have it on their list. 137.1 kilometres to go, 8 laps of racing as we see our group of 16 make its way across the line this time.
For their careers.
16 riders in the lead. The gap is 6:33 with 8 laps of racing to go as we head into the feed.
For that last half a lap, the time gap didn't change too much, did it? So the riders out in front just trying to hold off this large peloton of riders who are now getting their feed bags. They'll choose from the feed bag what they'd like to eat. They'll have a little scramble around and they'll say, yep, that's the one I'm looking for. And then they have a specific waste area where they can throw that bag.
Australian World Championships tend to create a different scenario. We haven't been here, of course, many times, but we were here in Geelong in 2010, and it nearly created an historic moment in World Championship history as well, when there was a breakaway group of riders, including Matt Brameyer, who is the team director of Great Britain now, and they were on a circuit, or coming up towards the final circuit, and they had 17 minutes as Peter Sagan comes to the front. Oh, crash on the side there. One of the British riders hits a fan.
Yeah, his bike just, I think it grabbed the flag that was being there.
I'm not sure who that was. Let's just see a little replay. Yeah, he just hit the side of the road, hit the flag as well. Jake Stewart, I think that was. It is Jake Stewart.
That's Jake Stewart, yeah. So he's riding very close to the spectators on the roadside there, and there are no barriers. So you have to be very cautious riding that close to the edge when there are no barriers, because we saw there was a fan on the roadside with an Australian flag, and it looked as though it just got caught there in the handlebars of Jake Stewart. Fortunately for him, it wasn't a heavy crash. He was able to pick himself up and get moving again quite quickly.
To follow names like Alaphilippe and Alejandro Valverde and Pete Sagan and Pete Posty, and go back in history, Bernardino, Gianni Bugno, Mario Cipollini, all those riders who have been world champions, add in Eddie Merckx and so many of the greats. This is the big day in world cycling. We're inside the magic 100 kilometers to go. 6 laps of racing. Taco van der Hoorn leads the peloton. The gap now 4 minutes and 33 seconds to the peloton now. But we might see something happen earlier. We now get an attack as riders go clear. Battistella, James Fouché is struggling. So is the Brazilian rider. As the riders go up this climb, we are seeing now the split that we anticipated might happen on the 14% gradient. And who's doing the damage? It's O'Connor who is doing all the damage on this climb. 8 riders in the lead. They've dropped 3. So it's Battistella in his first professional road championships. His first elite road champs. Battistella now kicks a little bit harder. Twice second on stages of La Vuelta, and he is making the move. Sivakov recognises that this is a dangerous moment. Going across to him is the Latvian rider, Emils Liepins, and Seri is fighting for all he is worth to stay here. Battistella has made the selection.
Yeah, Battistella would have got news that the things have sped up behind, back in the peloton, led by the Dutch team. He knows that he has to react as well in front, and he is pushing the pace on the climb.
Donatas Lasinas of the Lithuanian squad in trouble. Also in trouble is Derek G, and now we get the acceleration. The first big move since we were on Mount Kira, and now France start to up the tempo and see whether they can do a little bit of damage. Quentin Paché is the rider who goes, immediately tracked by rider from Great Britain onto the wheel.
That's Jake Stewart there, who has followed Quentin Paché. So it looks as though Julian Alaphilippe went back to his team car a few moments ago, had a chat with Tom Avokla. They've decided now is the time to start to make the race hard again. And as soon as they've hit this Mount Pleasant climb, they have upped the tempo.
And it's now 2 Groupama riders going clear. It's Quentin Paché with Jake Stewart. Stewart knew, I need to be on the wheel of this rider. Quentin Paché is a great rider on this sort of terrain. Behind them there is now a bit of a move, 13% the gradient. They are making it very, very hard on this particular section.
And in third wheel there, that's Quinton Hermans, who has followed the acceleration there from Quentin Paché.
Rochelle's wild card is up there. Ben Tullet goes jumping across for Great Britain. Julian Alaphilippe is not too far from the front, but not necessarily in the best position. At the front of the race, then, we see this elite group of riders who have made a little bit of a selection happen. The peloton seems to have broken into 2 specific parts. Here's the crash of Zimmerman. Oh, that was a big crash.
Yeah, high speed coming off that climb. You can be quite fatigued. You have to stay very attentive.
Looks like he touched a wheel in the string and went straight across the road to the right-hand side.
Well,
they're going to cover the little run into the finish line now, and we will see what the time gaps are going to be. This time round, 4 laps of racing to go. Australia with Ben O'Connor in a great position. 4 laps of racing now remain in the UCI Road World Championships in Wollongong.
And the reaction behind back in the peloton once again is coming from the Spanish team. So they've been caught out for a second time today. They have missed that important split. And that split that have gone off the front on the last climb up Mount Pleasant, 21 riders, but of that 21, none of the big pre-race favourites.
Big moment in this race, 59 kilometres to go. If you've just joined us now, the Italian Samuele Battistella, who was part of the original breakaway group of riders, just clear the chasing group with La Vuelta winner in there, including Remco Evenepoel, Jai Hindley, the winner of the Giro d'Italia. And now we see an acceleration because the Spanish team have just found themselves wanting all afternoon. Sivakov goes across the top with Remco Evenepoel. A few riders just suffering at the back, including Jake Stewart of Great Britain. Big move by Remco Evenepoel, the winner of La Vuelta, accelerates hard to try and drag this group away a little bit further. Well, he's taking his opportunity. Wout van Aert is 1 minute 24 seconds behind, and maybe the Belgian team had a discussion, which was, if Remco, you end up in a winning position, then you need to try and capitalise, because ultimately it puts all the other teams on the back foot anyway. It looks like Switzerland have decided with Simon Peo that they've got a good chance with Mauro Schmidt. Schmidt won a very tough stage of the Giro d'Italia when he took his victory. He's a young rider, rides for the Quick Step Alpha Vinyl team. 3 laps of racing to go, leading group of 26 as we make our way into the closing stages of this UCI Road World Championships in Wollongong. Germany continue with the fight to try and bring this back together. Who are they riding for this afternoon? Because we know that George Zimmermann has crashed. They've only got a couple of riders left, but yet they are still the team who are doing all the chasing.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a fight for position here. A number of teams trying to place their team leader towards the front of the peloton, so the pace has increased. Peter Seri now getting dropped from that breakaway. He has done a huge amount of work today.
Here's the move then, Tadej Pogačar, right-hand side of the road as he comes forward. Marc Soler is there as well, and now goes the attack of Soler. Onto the wheel also as we see the moves forward of Valentin Madouas of France. Madouas France, Soler, Tadej Pogačar, all starting to move with Alberto Bettiol of Italy in the Maglia Azzurra, the blue jersey. Biniam Girmay now moves for Eritrea, and up at the front looking comfortable, double world champion Julian Alaphilippe.
Now the big acceleration starting to happen behind in the peloton. The gap is going to close really quickly. They've lost around 30 seconds on the climb up Mount Pleasant alone.
Big attack as we make our way towards the 2 laps of racing to go, and it's Remco Evenepoel who's decided to up the tempo and see whether he can split this group. A massive attack from the Belgian.
Lutsenko coming across, he sees an opportunity here to work with Evenepoel and take this around another 2 laps. It is a big ask to hold off that peloton, but they are having a go. And this might be a full commitment from Evenepoel and Lutsenko, both very keen to stay away.
Well, Lutsenko tried once or twice, wasn't able to get away. Now he's jumped away with Remco Evenepoel. These 2 riders are going to commit to this breakaway.
2 laps of racing to go in the World Road Championships, and it's Remco Evenepoel, the winner of La Vuelta, with Alexei Lutsenko, who've just attacked off the front. And right now, 2 of the top riders in the world, in Remco Evenepoel and Alexei Lutsenko, are on the chase to try and secure the biggest prize in cycling at the end of this afternoon. 2:26, this gap is going out, it's not coming down. Remco Evenepoel, the Belgian wonder kid. The hopes of the nation have been on his shoulders. He's already delivered a Grand Tour this year. He's delivered a monument. Is he about to deliver the rainbow bands to Belgium as well? The plan was Wout van Aert. He's not taken that plan. He's gone forward. Remco Evenepoel gets rid of Alexei Lutsenko. It was only a matter of time before the Belgian went flying up this climb.
We can see there on the steepest gradients of Mount Pleasant, Remco Evenepoel has just got out of the saddle and ridden Alexei Lutsenko off his wheel. Now he's settled down into his rhythm. He knows he has to keep pushing from this point on. He needs to keep building on this gap.
This is a massive moment for Belgium. Remco Evenepoel is now 47 seconds ahead of the next group of riders. 2:27 to the group that contains the team leader of Belgium, Wout van Aert. Last year, Evenepoel said, I was in a winning position. I could have won the world title. It's 10 years since Belgium last won a world title. It was Philip Gilbert who took the victory on that particular occasion, beating Edvald Boassenhagen and Alejandro Valverde. They've let him go. They need to do something pretty rapid about this. Dylan van Baarle comes to the front for the Netherlands. Behind him, all the riders behind have been waiting and waiting and waiting. And sometimes, if you snooze, you lose, because Evenepoel has gone up the road.
Well, you can see now in that main peloton chasing that it is the absolute favourites that are now being forced to do the work. And within a lap and a half to go, that's what you expect. They really need to take it on themselves now if they want a chance of winning the Rainbow Stripes, as Evenepoel just rides his way.
Well, Wout van Aert is chasing down his teammate Remco Evenepoel. He has to, because the plan was Belgium to win the world title with Wout van Aert. He put everything into it, and Van Aert now stamps on the pedals, gets himself up the climb. He's got a couple of riders for company in Alberto Bettiol. Also coming across, Julian Alaphilippe is in the wheels. So is Valentin Madouas. But right now, what do Belgium do? Van Aert against Evenepoel. But this rider is on an absolute mission, heading in towards Wollongong to get the bell, with 1 minute and 4 seconds on the chasers, Enkel, Jensen, Rota and Schmidt. 1:19 on Bardet's group and 2:26 on Alaphilippe, Wout van Aert, Tadej Pogačar. This rider is dominating this World Championship. Remco Evenepoel of Belgium as he heads towards the bell. The Belgian wonder kid is 1 lap from a crowning glory of an incredible season. 1 lap to go. Solo leader Remco Evenepoel. He just could not stay on the wheel, but he's trying to hold on to give Kazakhstan a silver medal. This rider's won the under-23 title before. Evenepoel's won the junior world title. 1 lap to go. Can Lutsenko hold on for silver? Evenepoel takes a bottle. Hardly even comes out of the aero tuck. Gets himself into the right position. 16 kilometres to go.
Well, he looks like he's very much in control, doesn't he? He looks comfortable in that position. He would have got a time check coming through the finish line. He is riding his way towards a victory here in Wollongong. Remco Evenepoel.
Now we have Remco Evenepoel on the final climb of the day, the final ascent of Mount Pleasant.
Doesn't he look powerful? Doesn't he look in control?
He looks like he's just started this race. Remco Evenepoel through the theatre of sound on the top of the climb of Mount Pleasant. He's going to crest the top of this and put himself into time trial mode and head back down to Wollongong. The Australian fans urging on this incredible athlete as he makes his way towards a world title. Remco Evenepoel has done everything right today. The focus, the poise, the way that he gets into the right breakaway. Lutsenko now has got over 1 climb. Can he get over the other? He's just soaking this in. I'm sure right now he is just feeling the motivation of a huge crowd on Mount Pleasant. The shoulders are rocking a little bit side to side. The momentum is good. The poise is good. The cadence is good. This rider is set for a world title over the top of this really horrible little section of the climb. Lutsenko is still holding on. What a job he's doing to try and bring home the silver medal. He really does deserve it. He's made the right moves. He just couldn't match the Belgian wonder kids.
Well, when he gets over the top, he'll be wanting to get over the top before these riders, and then he will try to time trial his way to the finish, but he has got super tired legs.
The rest of these riders just trying to put themselves in with a chance of taking at least a medal. Roman Bardet is there, Ben Tullet is there, Jai Hindley is there still for Australia, giving Australia an opportunity to at least get on the podium. This time, the plan of Michael Matthews hasn't paid off. He is still in the back group.
Lutsenko doing a fantastic job. You can see the pain, but he's still applying pressure through those pedals.
Remco Evenepoel over the top of Mount Pleasant, 6.7 kilometres to go, leans it into the next turn on beautiful, wide, sunny roads. Lutsenko, can he get himself to the top of this climb? He's almost there now. The Kazakh rider who has won a world title as an under-23 before. Now we start to see the accelerations from behind as we see Inkhorn now is dropped. Rota goes forward with Schmitz and with Jensen. Alexei Lutsenko just hanging on in front of Jensen, Rota and Schmidt. He looks around, he gets a little bit of company. Schmidt is there, goes to the left-hand side. Rota follows Jensen as he goes to the left-hand side of the road. Schmidt is playing a little bit of poker with Lorenzo Rota, the Italian rider. The Italian is freewheeling around behind. So we've got this group of 4 riders fighting it out for silver and bronze. A couple of riders are going to be happy, a couple of riders are going to be disappointed. A huge day for the Belgian rider into time trial mode all the way down into Wollongong. The 22-year-old Belgian wonder kid is set to win the world title. He's just got to keep this on, keep the tempo. He's been told by the team director what the situation is, but these riders behind continue to pile on the pressure, but it's still a massive advantage. Here we get the counter-attacks coming from the group behind. They are desperately seeking to try and take the silver and bronze medal, but it may well have left it way, way too late. There is Wout van Aert. This rider has demolished the field. He rides 25 kilometres solo in this World Championship. 300 metres to go. 4 years since he won the junior world title. This season, he wins a monument. He wins a Grand Tour. And now he adds the rainbow bands as the world champion. 10 years after Philippe Gilbert. Look at the ecstasy on the face of Remco Evenepoel. The Belgian wonder kid is a world champion, a monument, a Grand Tour, and now the rainbow bands. We're getting set then. Pascal Inkhorn, Mauro Schmidt, Lorenzo Rota coming round the corner into position. One more rider who hits them hard.
It's Jan Tratnik though, he's jumped away.
Wow, Tratnik hits them hard for Slovenia. Tratnik looks around. Where did he come from? Jan Tratnik and Alexei Lutsenko. It's Tratnik going for the silver medal for Slovenia. Where did Jan Tratnik appear from? He goes clear now. Tratnik being chased down by Christophe Laporte. Is it going to be Laporte? Is it going to be Wout van Aert? On the line it is Michael Matthews. Laporte and Matthews. Laporte takes the silver. Matthews takes the bronze for Australia. Where did they come from? Look at the celebration. Look at the moment as he brings home the world title for Belgium.
At only 22 years of age, he already gets to experience putting on that rainbow jersey in the men's elite road race.
He silences the critics. He wins this race. Last year, he had a terrible time after the World Championships. Now he soaks in the glory and the emotion of a victory here in Wollongong. He put everybody way behind. He wins this title by 2 minutes and 21 seconds ahead of Christophe Laporte of France and Michael Matthews of Australia. Look at the names in the top 10. Van Aert, Trentin, Christophe, Sagan, Bettiol, Hayter and Jensen. They caught them just on the line. Simon, they closed a massive gap. We didn't even see them.
No, we did not even see them until the final 200 metres of the race. But that chase group that was chasing behind Remco Evenepoel, they stopped to look at each other for too long and they were quickly swept up by the peloton. Tratnik there getting caught with 50 metres to go in the race. Christophe Laporte leading the bunch home to take the silver medal. Michael Matthews pulling one out of the bag for Australia, taking the bronze.
Matthews, the third time he's finished on the podium of the World Championships. Christophe Laporte this season, look at that, he beats his teammate Wout van Aert on the road on the Jumbo-Visma team. But Laporte has had a wonderful season as well, taking the silver medal and turning things around for France in the last gasp of the race.
When your teammates do such a fabulous job, it does really lift your motivation to finish it off and to find that little bit extra energy to ensure that all the hard work.
Now 6 top 10s and 3 wins in the World Championships. Alberto Bettiol, Ethan Hayter, Matthias Jensen make up the top 10 at the end of a thrilling race lasting 6 hours and 16 minutes when Evenepoel crossed the line.
Well, there was such a big group of riders there sprinting home for the remaining medals on the podium.